Today's episode is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited 5G data that won't slow you down. Daniel Cormier! What's up, guys? I'm here with Kai Kara-France, who fights for the UFC flyweight championship of the world this weekend. I always get that confused. Bantamweight, flyweight, strawweight. Like, why can't we just say 125?
I don't even know pounds. I know it is kgs. So.
Yeah, you see, that's why they got to give it those nicknames. So, before we get into that, before we get into this, so I read this. I put this down in the notes. It wasn't moving, so you don't have to worry about getting boat sick or falling off. The fights were in Phuket. My teammates had to come on the cruise ship and watch the fight. I was fighting a Filipino fighter, and it was funny because all the workers on the cruise ship were Filipino. They all came out of the kitchen and came out when we were fighting. It felt like I was fighting Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines, but I ended up winning. It was less than 30 seconds to fight, and then we got to party on the boat for 2 days. What in the world is that, Doug? You were fighting on a boat?
Yeah, cruise ship. Yeah, first of its kind. It was like a movie. Like,
really?
And I could see my opponent when I first saw him. He looked like he was on holiday, and I was like, bro, we're gonna fight first. Don't worry about going on this cruise ship and having a holiday. We're gonna throw down. So,
what was he doing? Partying?
Oh, I could just see it on his face. He was kind of dancing and like just overwhelmed. Like he was like, where am I? Shit, I'm actually here to work, not.
That is the craziest thing.
Yeah. So overnight we flew to Malaysia, and
Yeah.
overnight from Malaysia to Phuket we came on the boat. So it took about 5 hours to get back to Phuket, and then we docked at the port. So it wasn't moving, and then on the top deck on the 10th story, no roof, nothing. It was out in the open next to the pool. Like people are like. Drinking.
Wait, were this just like normal people on the cruise and they got to watch a fight?
Yeah.
So they were port and they didn't leave yet and they watch y'all fight?
Yeah, they're all just in the pool hanging out, and the fights, they were like, if it rains, it's probably going to be cancelled. So hopefully it doesn't rain. And then, we were warming up next to the cocktail bar. And then,
oh my God.
And then they said, sweet, we're walking. And then I think the theme of the cruise ship was like a pirate theme. So like the announcer was dressed as a pirate and all of this, but yeah, when I walked out, I was like, well, I've got business first and then I can party after.
You must have had a great time. It was like a vacation, a fight and a vacation.
Yeah, it was I think 20 seconds the whole fight. I dropped him straight away for right hand, it was the first punch, and then from there, uppercuts until the ref pulled me off. And then, I had 2 days to just party and hang out with my friends. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool bucket list.
So the last fight, right? You fought on that cruise ship. You probably fought all over the place to get to where you are today. We're in Australia.
Yeah.
You're fighting Steve Erceg, who's a tremendous boxer. You hit him, bang, put him out clean. Yeah. You had been gone for a while, right? Taking some time off to recover, get right.
Yeah.
To have that performance there, what did it feel like?
Like this was his hometown. Like New Zealand and Australia, we're seen as one, but when we're fighting each other, it's a rivalry.
Yeah.
And it's the shots you don't see coming that hurt you, and he didn't see it coming. He didn't adjust for the extra step I took, and he's a great counter fighter. But we game planned for that. That he would try pull, and he didn't pull far enough, and then that's when people know him as for my right hand, but that left hand is the one that landed. So. Just from there, it's instinct. I've done this so many times now. I know when someone's hurt, and that's a skill. And when I saw he was wobbling, and I knew, okay, I just need to rush this guy now. He wants a way out. And then the ref had seen enough when I landed that right hand, and he just shelled up. And it was just perfect kind of welcome back party and welcome back fight for myself, and just cemented me right where I wanted to be, and that's at the top.
You were in the octagon after. Yeah. And I'm interviewing you.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, what a left hand, because very few 125-pounders can put you out like that. And you said, I'm outie, bro. And the place went absolutely crazy.
I didn't realize how big that was until I went back home.
Dude.
That saying, that went super viral in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And everywhere I went, it was such a simple sentence, but so powerful at the same time. Mm-hmm. And just going, like, I was speaking my truth. I didn't rehearse any of that. When you asked me that question, none of that was rehearsed. I was just going off of how I felt.
Emotion.
And, just emotion. You know who I am. I don't shy away from being emotional. And in my culture, in Māori culture, showing emotion is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just being open and honest. So when I said that, and I went back home, man, so many people coming up to me. They didn't even watch the fight. They just saw that, and they said,
Really?
You don't know how much you've done for your people." And just knowing that you're able to change someone's, I guess, mood or reaction just from one sentence. I just knew that, like, the next big fight that I'm doing, I'm embodying all of this. I'm bringing all my culture with me. It's my superpower. It's something that I draw on for strength. It's something that I draw on for protection. But you don't know until you see it, like a haka or our culture, how beautiful it is. So yeah, that's why I get emotional talking about my culture and everything, because it means so much to me. It is me. Yeah.
You said it from your chest. But earlier we were talking in the fighter meeting, and that hasn't always been like the thing, right? Your name, your full name. You were telling me a beautiful story about your name, and Kamaru Usman had a very similar story.
Yeah.
Everybody used to call him Marty in wrestling because to call him by his real name was a little bit different. And you were speaking about your name and how much now you like embrace everything about your culture. But when you were younger and your kids gave you that traditional name, your parents gave you that traditional name, you were like, just call me Kai, because kids were making fun of you for your
100%.
Your name.
And my first name was James. And, you know, taking it really, well, this is generational trauma. So our grandparents, they had to change their names. They had Māori names, but they had to change to English names because they were dealing with racism. They were dealing with segregation because of just their name.
Wow.
And then in schools, they couldn't speak their native language. They used to get beaten, and it was stripped of them. So now, full circle, you know, that was still around when I was growing up. Not getting beaten at school.
Because we asked you why did they ever call you by your name, James?
Yeah.
And you said no.
No, my family have never called me James. They call me Kai Whare. That's the only name I know. But when I was in primary school, everyone kept messing up my name. They didn't know how to pronounce it properly, and you're still trying to figure it. Or I was
young.
Yeah, I was young, and I didn't know how powerful your name can be to help you. And just navigating all of that, I had enough of people mispronouncing my name. I just want to be James France.
Oh, James, sorry, yeah,
James France, which is, the widest name and the most Pākehā name you can get. But that's because that's been passed on, generational trauma from our grandparents and their grandparents, because that was seen as looked down upon, And I wanted to just full circle now. My kids, they have Māori names, and I'm proud to know that they're going to be growing up speaking fluent Te Reo Māori before English, and that's how far we've come. When our grandparents were growing up, they couldn't speak their language, so that's why it was lost. That was lost through our generation, but now that it's such a unique thing and it's such a advantage to be able to speak Te Reo Māori, and now there's such a high demand that there's a year-long wait list to get into schools now. So full circle, that's why I'm very emotional about my name, because I've had to go through a lot of stuff just to be proud of it, and to be full circle now with my kids, walking that path with them, reconnecting with culture, but knowing where they come from to know where they're heading. So I'm heading to the top, I'm bringing culture with me, and that's why it means so much to me.
That's beautiful. Speaking of the top, this weekend you fight the champ Pantoja. You said about him that he's stubborn. If he tries to wrestle you and take you down, it'll be difficult. You have the highest takedown defense in the division. Yeah. You're too fast, you're too quick. But then he'll become stubborn. And when he becomes stubborn and starts marching forward, you will have opportunities to put him out. Yeah. When you break down Pantoja and you see that, what level of confidence does that give you going into this fight? Because we've seen a guy now who's defended the belt 3 times on his 4th title defense against you, and what we see is this great champion, but you see a lot of opportunity.
100%, and you know this from experience. Fighting regularly back-to-back 5-rounders, it takes a toll. And it's not just the fight, it's the camps.
Yeah, the camps are what's hard.
Yeah, 100%. That's what will retire you. So knowing that, you know, he's gone through a lot of these 5-round camps, and his coaches are trying to get the best out of him. It's hard to stay at the top, and I know that from my teammates that have been fighting the best guys as a champion, you know, and Izzy and Volk. So I just know it takes a toll on you, and I'm coming to this after nearly a year off. But I've been in the gym just grinding, and I've had to be pulled back a few times because I was overtraining. I was going too hard. Where I thought I was fighting in Miami, and they're like, no, you're not till, you know, June on International Fight Week. So, I'm bringing in my career best, and that's just me giving myself the best chance, preparing the only way I know how, and that's just to go all in. Like, I've been all in since the start of this year. My family have known it. They know, my wife knows, okay, cool, I need to pick up the slack with the kids and make sure they're sorted because I've got a job to do, and I'm that focused. And this fight's bigger than me because of who I'm representing and where I come from, and yeah, that's what I'm feeding off. So whatever Pantoja's bringing to the table, you know, I'll have an answer for it. And like I said, I want to be the first guy that knocks this guy out. Like, I know he's tough, I know he's durable, but everyone's got an off button. You just need to hit them hard enough and hit them on the right spot. So I feel like everything's aligning perfectly. My maturity as a person, as a man, and as a fighter, it's all coming together. And having that dag strength and that power, because I'm Māori, is going to be all the difference.
You and Pantoja fought way back in the day on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Can you take anything from that, or is that just completely water under the bridge because you guys were so young in your careers?
I knew Pantoja was going to be one of the best fighters. He was the #1 seed back then, and he was, you know, people were afraid of him because he just had that look, and I never backed down from a challenge. You know, it was only a 2-round fight. He did what he needed to, and he got the win, but it doesn't tell the full story if you just watch that fight and you think, okay, it's going to be the same this weekend. I was a boy back then.
Yeah.
Now I'm a man. Now I know what I'm fighting for. I know that. I know my skill set, and I have that confidence. So, going through, you know, the highs and lows of this fight game, you figure out. I've had to figure this career out on the job. You know, I first had my first fight when I was 17. So I took a few losses early in my career, but I always knew how to come back from them. And coming back from this loss, I get to run this back and, yeah, make history.
Making history, and earlier you said what you represent. If you win this belt this weekend, you'll be only the second New Zealand UFC world champion. What would that mean to Kai Kara-France?
It's not the title and, you know, the belt that is what I'm chasing. It's what it brings. That's what I'm chasing, and that brings mana. So when you walk into a room, you have a presence that demands respect. And in my culture, it's the highest honor. So that's what I'm chasing, and what it means for my people. And it gives us hope, inspiration, and something to celebrate. And you know, like we talked about in our kōrero, talking about full circle of being proud of who you are and where you come from. It just embodies everything. So that's why this fight's bigger than me, and that's what I've tapped into this fight camp. Just having that connection, and when I'm in dark times and I'm going to go through the fire, I've got a strong enough why to push me through and get me through the whatever happens in this fight. So I don't take it lightly when I say I'm not leaving without this belt, because I'm willing to do whatever. And took that 15-year bucket list that to be a world champion. I get to go do that Saturday and took that off. You have fought for the belt once before. Yeah. It didn't go your way. You take those lessons, apply it to the second time. How much did you learn in that opportunity from the build, from all this that comes with fighting for a UFC championship that you know now that you can apply to this Saturday? The fight might not have went your way in Dallas, but boy, that was a nice after party. Hey, the boy was in there. The boy was in that after party. It was nice, guy. That's the last time I've been out. Yeah, it was a nice. That was a nice after party, man. It was a while ago. And I know, like a week before that, they were like, "Oh, I'm surprised that the after party's here. There was a shootout here." And I was like, "Okay, what are we still doing here? Let's get out." Shootout at the place, but boy, any club that has a shootout, Jerry Pryor, is a good place to hang out and party. Yeah, it's just fun. But no, you know, I learned a lot from that experience. Just going through it, coming out the other side, and picking myself back up. I knew that I had moments in that fight, and Brandon Moreno did really well to capitalize on his moments, and that's the difference at the top. It's those game of inches, and that's the difference between walking out with that belt. So it wasn't my time, hats off to Brandon Moreno and what he's done in his career. But now, full circle, I've climbed my way back to a title fight for UFC 317 against Pantoja, and now it's Kai time.
It's Kai time.
And you know what Kai time means?
What's that?
It's food time.
Food time. Hey.
And we hungry.
Have you allowed yourself to see that moment when they put that belt around you? Have you allowed yourself to just close your eyes and envision Dana putting that belt on you?
100%. It makes me tear up because I want this so bad.
It's so sweet.
I want this so bad. I know you've felt it time and time again, and there's no better feeling. But I know I've got a tough ask in front of me, and once I earn it by taking this guy out, the satisfaction that I'm going to get, just to know that how far I've come, and through all the doubt, all the head noise, and all the what I've had to come through, it was all for something. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and I've visualized it for 15 years. Since I started the sport, that's all I've ever wanted to do. I've never been good at anything else than fighting, and that's what's kept me in the gym, because I haven't took that off. So I can't wait, and
And you fight very good, guys. Kai France fights for the UFC Flyweight Championship Saturday. UFC 317, co-main event against the champ Alexandre Pantoja. Tap into everything this young man is doing, from Instagram to TikTok to everything else. Make sure you tap in to Kai France. Until next time, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about my YouTube channel, because I'm checking out with my Maori friend, Kai France. Until next time, peace.
Appreciate
Hit that pay-per-view buy button. Line these guys' pockets.
That's it.